everything is a meme. Bitcoin is a meme. Ethereum is a meme. Tesla is a meme.
Can we say then MULTIVERSX is a meme?
100%. MULTIVERSX is the most scalable layer 1 in the world at this point. Can it be made sexy? Maybe the countdown is not the best way to communicate with the community at this point. You will always have this blessing and curse of trying to do too much. If it works, you're exceptional. If it doesn't, you're horrible. I think we should have more Owens. An Owen for Germany, an Owen for Portugal, an Owen for US. Yeah, almost immediately. You just land in US and then go directly to prison.
Would you say that there is a lack of hype around MULTIVERSX?
Benjamin Minko here from MULTIVERSX for Crypto Daily.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hello, thanks for watching the video. We are here receiving today Benjamin Minko from MULTIVERSX. So we're going to have a talk about a lot of things that happened within the year and that will happen on MULTIVERSX. So thank you and stay connected. So Benjamin, actually.
Yes, Benjamin.
I'm Benjamin, you're Benjamin.
Yes.
How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Very good too. Very happy to have you again on the podcast. It's a video for the first time. We had a discussion last year around the Paris Blockchain Week for the event in audio, only audio, and now you can see our beautiful studios.
I like it. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the time. For those who doesn't know you, can you tell us who you are?
I'm Benjamin Minko, founder and CEO of MULTIVERSX. MULTIVERSX is the most scalable layer 1 in the world at this point. This is live, open source, and can process more than 100,000 transactions per second right now. That's extraordinary.
On every shard?
The idea is we have a technology called adaptive state sharding.
Okay.
This technology enables the network as a whole to scale, with every shard processing upwards of 30,000 transactions per second, with an update 50,000 transactions per second. But several shards, as demand grows, we can add, subtract. But the key point is processing 100,000 transactions per second is unseen in this space. That's extraordinary.
That's working as of right now?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. Before going more technical about MULTIVERSX, you are here today because of the Proof of Talk event where you were speaker as your brothers too. How was the event?
Very high quality, very high touch, and the right kind of conversations, whether it's builders, whether it's investors, or just people from the communities. Very much enjoyed the event.
What topic did you like or you speak of?
We've discussed about adoption, and funny enough, all the conversation in adoption was about memes.
Okay.
Very funny, but the entire summary or conclusion was that everything is a meme. Bitcoin is a meme. Ethereum is a meme. Tesla is a meme. And if you can compress the information, you can have a meme that can spread around the world.
Can we say then MULTIVERSX is a meme?
100%.
100%. Okay, that's cool.
Vous le savez, la DeFi, c'est un Far West. Entre 2016 et 2023, c'est des dizaines de milliards qui ont été piratés sur les protocoles décentralisés et les DApps. Rien qu'au mois de mai 2024, c'est 30 piratages qui ont été enregistrés dans l'espace crypto pour un total de 574,6 millions de dollars. Alors, comment s'en protéger? Athenains a trouvé la solution. Il s'agit en fait d'un protocole d'assurance décentralisé qui est conçu pour protéger vos investissements DeFi. C'est comme par exemple souscrire à une assurance, mais pour et sur la blockchain. Alors avec, vous êtes protégé contre le piratage, le dépeg de stablecoin et les vulnérabilités des contrats intelligents. Quand on a galéré à accumuler un capital, qu'on le met au travail pour obtenir du rendement, rien ne sert de jouer au héros et de finir à zéro. Et opter pour une couverture en quelques clics, ça reste un vrai plus. Typiquement, si un incident survient, on récupère son indemnité, pas besoin d'attendre les remords du hacker ou plutôt une armée de bureaucrates. Alors, le fonctionnement est assez simple. Athenains, en fait, s'appuie sur un réseau de fournisseurs de liquidités qui vont répartir stratégiquement les capitaux entre les différents pools de couverture. Les frais payés pour la couverture sont ensuite redistribués à ces fournisseurs de liquidités. Les réserves de liquidités absorbent les chocs, mais aussi indemnisent les assurés en cas de pépin. Ensuite, son protocole analyse des facteurs tels que les taux d'utilisation et l'historique des incidents en temps réel. Le calcul des primes est lui dynamique, mais aussi équitable. En fait, Athena rend le processus simple et sans autorisation. Les demandes demandes d'indemnisation sont sans arbitrage centralisé et vos intérêts sont alignés avec ceux du protocole. Il se démarque notamment de la concurrence par l'effet de levier possible. Par exemple, les fournisseurs de liquidités gagnent plus de récompenses, tandis que les acheteurs de couverture, eux, vont bénéficier de meilleurs taux. Ils ont aussi un jeton, le ATEN, le ATEN, c'est un utility token qui va donner quelques avantages sur la plateforme. Et si un protocole qui est protégé par Athena est piraté, le token en fait il va gagner en valeur grâce à un mécanisme de buyback et de burn. En tout cas, c'est notre sponsor de cette vidéo, leur ambition est énorme et c'est d'ailleurs tout à leur honneur. Tous les utilisateurs de la DeFi méritent de gagner passivement de l'argent, mais sans risquer de perdre leurs actifs. Alors, merci à Athena. Vous pouvez aller les rejoindre sur leurs réseaux sociaux pour les dernières news, des questions ou tout autre commentaire que vous pourriez avoir. Et si jamais vous voulez explorer par vous-même, vous retrouverez aussi tout ce qu'il vous faut sur le sujet dans la description juste en dessous. Merci à Athena de sponsoriser cette vidéo et on retourne tout de suite sur votre interview.
I wanted to speak with you about something you have done this year. Everyone heard about that, everyone talked about that, is the countdown.
Sure.
What's happened with that?
Well, we basically set the countdown in motion, had some fun with the community. It was very productive, very creative. Community had a lot of ideas and so forth. But as it turns out, communities always tend to overblow things. So when you leave too much time, then they blow things out of proportion. Then at the end of the day, what we started with the countdown was a very important step that has brought MULTIVERSX this year an enormous amount of progress. So at that point, we basically shaped a bit the strategy for the year, shared that, and several important strategic milestones were shared immediately after that. That was a good step, but maybe the countdown is not the best way to communicate with the community at this point.
Let me tell you, people were crazy about it. Like every day, people were like going crazy. And people from Ethereum, from every blockchain, like in France, I can speak for what I see here in Paris and in France, people got crazy about it. What did you stop?
Well, the entire point is this. If you discuss about memes, because we were discussing about memes, it's very important to detach a bit and treat these things, both the serious things in the proper way and the jokes or interesting things in the proper way. I think most of the people tend to take everything much too serious.
Yes,
and then
definitely.
even a joke, even a countdown, even something like that, they believe a rocket is going to launch at the end of the countdown. And I think it's good to be very practical, but then also to be very pragmatic and do not make out of one thing everything.
So you decided to stop it?
Yes.
It was a mutual decision.
And no, it was something that, interestingly enough, made the community even more creative.
Okay.
So, you know, you start something and then you pause it and then everything
People
goes...
just keep going on and...
Not only keep going, it was 100x in excitement. So even more excited because there was, again, very interesting experiment, very productive. At the end of the day for the community, many of the things are experiments.
Okay.
Looking at them as experiments becomes a very instructive lesson. If you're treating everything like fixed, everything needs to be done like this or that, then it's a very different conversation.
Thank you for answering that. I think that that's the first time since the countdown you spoke publicly about it.
I don't think so. I think I've spoken about it.
Did you tell publicly why you did stop?
No. The entire point was the countdown was a meme in itself. It was definitely an experiment in driving attention and then focusing some attention on some specific topic. But then from one point to the other, people were thinking about rockets going to launch at the end of the countdown. So at that point I said, no, maybe it's even better to take a pause from the countdown rather than overstate it every day.
Did you saw any overreaction?
A lot of overreaction, but I think, again, the way I look at things is what lessons can there be learned from this? One is people treat countdowns with dead seriousness. I mean, it's a meme that's stronger than any other meme. So it's almost like if I say in 30 days there will be something.
People think like it's going to be the biggest thing ever.
Exactly. So I think this message can be conveyed in several ways, and the countdown has been an interesting and instructive lesson.
Would you redo it?
Not in the same way.
Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the rebranding. You had, being at the beginning Elrond to MULTIVERSX. What made you decide to rebrand?
So I think we've had several discussions with the guys even the last days, whether in the US or here. And it's very interesting that everyone at this point knows MULTIVERSX. Mm-hmm. Of course, there are some OG people or very old people that sort of were in the space that very much know Elrond, still love Elrond. We still get that. That's great. But MULTIVERSX now has the reputation both in technical terms and in business terms of what it can do and is available. The reason why we changed was twofold. One, legal conversations with some big companies that had Elrond registered and all of that. We were actually in the process of registering everything. It took more than 1 or 2 years to actually register. And the company found out during the registration process about us because they would probably not know that. But the good part is this is now all done.
And
it's
you
clear.
have it, you have no problem with that name.
And the entire point is when people think about MULTIVERSX, most people, interestingly enough, think about the metaverse first. Yes. But this is the idea of the multiverse is the idea from quantum physics, where you have not only one universe, one reality, but you have several realities unfolding at the same time. And the one reality that you generally see is the one that you focus on and act upon. So this idea just opens up several things happening at the same time, which are, you can apply it on technology, the fact that you have Web3, the fact that you have AI, spatial computing, and so forth, or in any other field, the fact that you have several blockchains gaining adoption at the same time.
That's actually a good idea. I didn't know, not a good idea, but a good dispense, a good energy. Yeah, essence.
Exactly.
I didn't know that. Do you find the decorrelation of the name of the token, being EGLD, a little bit disturbing with the blockchain named MULTIVERSX?
I personally do not.
Okay.
But the key thing here is I always observe two things. What are the initial intuitions of people when they do not have all the knowledge that we're discussing? So when we meet someone on the street and they hear about the project, what's their initial intuition? Do they believe this is a quantum physics project, or do they believe maybe it's around the metaverse or whatever? So that's one thing, and there's a lot of lesson around that. How do we make sure that people understand the crystal clear idea that this is the most advanced layer 1 in the world, period, and then everything is secondary to that. That's live, it's important, it's a milestone that most projects do not have. And then the token, I think, is again a meme. If you think about e-gold, everything else takes a larger to understand, a larger amount of time. So the entire insight with e-gold was how do you compress information such that I can give you this meme and then you instantly say,
Okay, I understand. Yeah. Do you have people, in this case, that you tell them, okay, the token is the name e-gold, and they are, okay, I understand?
A lot of people, but I think the thing is we have two types of community people. There's one type of community that was before MULTIVERSX, so has seen Elrond and ERD, and especially when you love something and it's changed,
to change.
It's very difficult. It's the most, let's say, difficult thing in the world because you do not want change. You love it already.
I have a question. Do you arrive someday at the office with a Elrond shirt or something?
I don't think so. So I have t-shirts, but I remember almost intentionally not taking them. Because they're cool, interesting, but I want to make a point that we're moving forward. On the other hand, I have some cool t-shirts for my sons that they still wear. That's very small and cool, and they're still with Elrond. I don't think I have the small ones with MULTIVERSX yet.
Okay, it will come.
It will.
So we had to ask people, friends, and the community if there are questions for you. So I have some about the rebranding. Do you regret using the term multiverse?
No, but this is much more philosophical answer. I don't live with regrets.
Okay.
So I make a decision. If there's something to be learned from that decision, I learn it, and then I move forward. The question can be, is there a smarter way, a better meme, a simpler meme that people would get or would love and so forth? And I think to this question, the answer is this. If the market performs positively, if things explode on the pricing side, people will love any name.
Definitely.
Any name. If the market is bad and horrible, they will incidentally link it to whatever name you have, especially if there's a rebrand or whatever. And then they will say at some point, hey, this name is the most awful thing. This is what's causing the bear market or whatever. I don't think that's the case, but I'm still always open to consider better positions, better abbreviations or compressions of the same idea.
Do you still believe in the multiverse, even though the term seems a little bit outdated?
I don't think it seems outdated. Quite the contrary. I think the most important insight that comes to this, it's almost like quantum physics is to the global physical worldview what evolution was to biology and psychology and all of that. So I think everyone is going to, during the next period, switch to this new idea where you have several states that sort of explain some phenomenons that you could not explain and so forth. So it does ring a bit hardcore in terms of sci-fi and so forth, but it's not at all outdated. The only question is, can it be made sexy? Can it be cool without being linked necessarily to the metaverse? Because I think that's what the question may imply.
Definitely.
And that's a bit a kind of secondary parameter where if I look at technologies, I mentioned this last time at X Day and will continue to mention it. I think Web3, AI, and spatial computing are fundamental technologies that will continue to reinvent themselves during the next few years.
You made me think of something. Last year, the interview we had, you spoke about a new project you were launching between MULTIVERSX and AI. Mm-hmm. You were questioning yourself about how can we, with MULTIVERSX, with the blockchain, make sure that the content made by AI is labeled as AI content?
That's a very good question. That is one of the most exciting subjects. But what I will mention is there are many secondary research and iteration ideas that we play with, that we'll try different things on. But it's almost like at first, this should be considered like a small fly that can grow into something large compared to the elephant that is MULTIVERSX, the network with everything that we've done and is live.
Just a layer of the...
Yeah. So we've done some iterations where we've taken, for instance, some experiments with AI, ChatGPT, integrating all MULTIVERSX documentation, integrating smart contract stuff and so forth. And we actually had a few hundreds of people join the Discord, the builders and so forth to test. Like, how good is it? How interesting
is it to continue?
Yeah. So this has been a great experiment, I think, with something like GPT-5 that will very likely come out very, very soon.
Very soon, you think?
Rumors say that it's sort of 3 months because there's something big planned for OpenAI. But yeah, I think that will change the game and will be integrated in a lot of tools that we already have on MULTIVERSX.
You have a lot of tools on MULTIVERSX. I want to speak about two of them. First being Xworld. You presented it at the X Day in Paris 2 years ago now.
Sure.
What's up with that?
Well, a few things. We have done an experiment where we have built a few iterations of the platform, but the platform has not worked out as we wanted. Okay. The technology was not there. The experiment did not turn out into something as exciting as we wanted. So we built an SDK with avatars, with mystery boxes that everyone can build on. This is now integrated into Exportal, so the avatar system can be integrated into games and all of that. And then the mystery boxes can be played with. The entire experiment has brought two important lessons. One, that it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources and things that you need to iterate on. But at the same time, we learned that these iterations should never replace the core thing, that everything
Definitely.
we've done that is live and works exceptionally. So we'll continue to do such experiments and iterations, but we'll also open this
going
thread
down.
on research, experimentations, always treating them as experiments until they prove to be something else.
Always testing.
Exactly.
So for you, good advice could be try, test out, but don't forget the core of your business, of your
100%,
what you do.
100%. I think the entire feedback that we've gotten throughout the last period is precisely this. We've been doing many things. And sometimes people forget what we're doing precisely because so many things are happening. Most of the other projects in the space literally do almost nothing compared to what we've built and have live. So taking a moment that we'll probably do to state not what we'll do in the future, but what we've done. How many things we've done, the fact that they're live, that you can use them right now, that the builders from France or any other part of the world build on them is exceptional. And the fact that, for instance, we've launched sovereign chains that literally open up this completely new layer and world with other ecosystems such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and so forth. That's, I think, larger than almost any other experiment that we've done.
Thank you for the answer. Was Xworld over budgeted?
Not over budgeted. The entire idea is this. When you do such experiments, it's much more important to take them pragmatically rather than, let's say, bet everything on them, to say, this is going to be an exciting experiment.
That's right.
It's not core stuff. It is an experiment. If it turns out to reach this and this milestone, it could be big. If it doesn't, it's no problem. There will be several experiments like that, and it's very important to do them. But treating this as a pragmatic experiment where then you draw a lesson and say, this is what has worked, this is what has not worked, and how could we do better in the future, whatever experiment we're doing.
Let's talk a little bit also about Xfabric. Can you explain the ambition of Xfabric?
Xfabric's ambition is to be an operating system, like an interface that gives you higher, simpler framework to build on MultiVerseX. You can see building on MultiVerseX WASM Space VM framework as this low-level programming stuff. Most people in the world today do not do low-level programming, assembly and stuff like that. Most people want a simple framework. Can I use Ruby on Rails? Can I use something that gives me
easy,
templates and so forth where I don't need to
workflow-like?
learn? Exactly. So the entire point with this other experiment was precisely this. Let's try to create a kind of framework like that would enable both developers to build simpler and so forth, but also non-technical builders to deploy some things. Where that is, there are several projects, I think 5 or 6, that have deployed things from non-technical builders to see how it works, to give some feedback and all of that. And we now have some private developers that are exploring the framework. This is moving forward, but silently in order to test.
How do you attract developers to use your product?
The entire point is in the different phases. There's this, let's say, private alpha or beta phase where what you do is only invite a few people that are really good, really hardcore, really sharp to test it, to come with feedback and say, this is really bad, this is really good, this is interesting, let's continue on this. And then in different phases, subsequently, you open it up to a larger audience. And if the entire point is to compress time to market, if you could do a 10x in terms of simplicity and speed of deploying an application, that would be an insane thing. But it's again a lesson that we've learned to treat it very pragmatically and do this checkpoint. Like, does this first checkpoint match the expectation? Nice. Does this second checkpoint match the expectation? Rather than saying, hey, let's go overboard, let's do everything and so forth. We've done the work. Now we're testing it with the private people. And I think it will be very interesting how the testing shapes.
I'm really happy to have you right now because I discovered something, a face of you I didn't know, is that you love to try out, I think. What do you say? Because we know how also is the ecosystem sometimes. What do you say to people that say, yeah, he did that, but fail, he did that, fail? What do you answer to that?
I will answer a few things. One, if you look at what we've delivered, not what we'll do in the future and so forth.
Already delivered.
What we've delivered is incomparable to any other ecosystem, not only in Europe, but in many other parts of the world in terms of technology, in terms of tools, in terms of services that you can use today. This, I think we've done a bad job of actually stating and restating, because people forget all of this. If it doesn't exist, they just chase the next thing. Like, give me the next dopamine rush. Oh, it's this video. Oh, it's this news. Oh, it's this other stuff. So I would say, if you look at everything we've built the most advanced layer 1 in the world, which is live. We've solved adaptive state sharding and secure proof of stake, which Ethereum with hundreds of billions has not been able to solve. We've now launched sovereign chains that opens up this interoperability and acceleration layer for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the other chains, and gives a completely new tool for builders. I think once this flywheel, for instance, for builders, enables them to create a new chain with their app, to have a new token with validators, with good community, to have airdrops, to have better fundraising and so forth. This is not giving them fish for one day, but rather is giving them a new method of fishing that will open up some new opportunities. At the end of the day, community is happy or sad to the extent of the ecosystem sort of exploding. If it explodes positively, everyone is happy. If it doesn't, and the market is super distorted or trying to tell you something different with memes that people like do not do anything else, they're revolting, they do not care about use cases, that do not care about fundamentals, utility, and so forth. Everyone is literally just throwing money at memes. This can be both the most funny thing and the most annoying thing, especially if you spend years doing stuff. Now, maybe the last point is, if you're resourceful, if you're talented, you will always have this blessing and curse of trying to do too much, always too much.
Blessing and curse.
Blessing and curse. This will be always the blessing, because at some points, if it works, you're exceptional. If it doesn't, you're horrible. Nothing has worked. I do not remember anything. So I know that this will always be our challenge. Precisely because we can build things, we'll always try to take in a bit more than we can chew. Okay. So being aware of that and treating it pragmatically, refocusing, cutting some things that don't work. And restating what's the core part and what are secondary experiments. That's always very useful and important.
That's amazing. Did you, before MULTIVERSX, create a company or something?
So I did several companies.
Okay.
Offered several services. There was a point in time where, together with my brother, I invested, for instance, in all the important architectures that were building at that point. And in fact, after trying to convince them to create adaptive state sharding and not managing to convince them, despite me being invested and knowing all the founders and so forth, this is how we came to actually gather the team with which we can build rockets and start Elrond.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Let's talk a little bit about the marketing and around MULTIVERSX.
Sure.
Would you say that as of right now, there is a lack of hype around MULTIVERSX?
No, not in the way that you think. So what I would say is something very interesting is happening. One, MULTIVERSX has improved in terms of awareness, outreach, presence at conferences, all important connections, 1000x. We're everywhere. People love us. They love the technology. And I was just receiving some feedback, interestingly enough, from a guy from Token Terminal today, randomly, where he said, like, it's for the first time that I see this type of interaction where builders over and over converge to MultiverSX being the best solution for them, which is interesting. Like, it was not me stating it, but him precisely doing analytics and then reaching this conclusion, which was very surprising. He was stating the same about Xportal being the only application that people had on the phone for crypto
Okay.
to buy and so forth, which is interesting experiments. Now, the question is, given where the market is, with memes, with everything performing very differently than you'd expect, can you improve marketing? Can you do something different? Can you do something better? 100%. We can do 1,000 times better. And I think this has to do with stating the core focus of what we've built, what is all live. This is the strength of MultiverSX. This is the exceptional important part that no one else has. But then starting from that, iterating with other methods, other strategies of actually doing marketing and ramping this up. So we've jump-started the business engine very significantly. Can we actually do the same on marketing, but in a very different way? Well, we've done it with community. We now have a DAO, X Alliance. Yep. It's happening. Builders, exceptional builders or creative people and so forth come in. That's one aspect of it, getting that type of feedback, getting the community involved, getting more closer people. But then the other point is, what's something more counterintuitive or exotic, like a kind of PR stunt, like a simple thing that penetrates as a better meme in the culture. And this, I think, will iterate even with the community a bit to see what smarter ways are there to do something like that, because there's many ways to improve it, and I'm very, very curious to actually see them play out.
You spoke about that your community. We saw that a lot of fans are from France and Romanian. Are you aware of that?
100%. I mean, we love both France and Romania. This is how it sort of started, just because in France we had a very powerful community. In Romania we had a very powerful community. These have been communities that I think even right now people recognize to be stronger than all the other communities. When you look at the other projects, it's uncommonly strong to see how many retail people, simple people are in this ecosystem, pushing, trying things out and so forth. So we're grateful for them, grateful to see them in, grateful that they're sticking around and still trying to contribute and share ideas and feedback. And I also think that we've made quite some significant steps to start initiatives. For instance, today we announced a very important initiative with the Cornell University from the US.
Let's focus a little bit in France. Has the Ash Consulting played a major role in acquiring this community?
A great role. So I actually met with Owen yesterday and had a very good conversation with him. And I think people do not understand how valuable he was and is for the community. Not only because of his reputation and what he is doing in France, and the way he interacts with the legal entities, the way he interacts with the regulators, the legitimate use cases that he brings in discussions.
We're very lucky to have him actually in France.
He's an exceptional person. And he has opened up the doors to people to come to MultiverSX, to come to Elrond and sort of do something that then people take for granted. It's very easy to wake up today and say, no, these guys are doing this and that. And I think even what they're doing with validators, people do not understand how a validator service works.
Okay.
Because when you're running a node, you're not running a node for yourself. It's not your money, especially if you're an institutional guy which has a legal mandate to serve other people. Now, the greatest benefit is that when you're regulated in a country like France and you're offering these services, banks hear about MultiverSX, institutionals hear about MultiverSX, enterprises hear about MultiverSX. Without him, they would not hear. They would immediately jump to Solana, Avalanche, whatever, Bitcoin and so forth. So it's very important that he's here. What he's doing is an exceptional job. I think he has brought large majority of people. And the services he's offering are important.
What is your relationship with Owen Simona?
He's an exceptional person that has brought the largest part of the French community in Elrond and MULTIVERSX. Greatest respect for him. At every point in time, the way he handled every step of our conversations, interactions, services, and so forth. Through him, our interactions with France have been 10 levels above the average interactions, whether it was regulators, whether it was recommendations and so forth. Like even meeting you and some of the other people, everyone was through Owen. So big respect to this guy. There's always things that I think we can do better. We can have conversations and so forth, but they rock generally. And I think what they're doing is going to grow significantly, both for MULTIVERSX in what we're doing and Maria.
I have to ask you this question.
Sure.
Aren't you afraid of being dependent of the influence of Owen?
The idea is precisely the opposite. Imagine not having someone like Owen at all.
How would that happen?
Yeah. How do you build the communities? Do you have better options? In fact, not only am I not being afraid, I think we should have more Owens. We should have as many Owens as possible. An Owen for Germany, an Owen for Portugal, an Owen for US. Yeah, ideally this is the model. I would just want one Owen for US, one Owen for Korea, and so forth. I actually told even him, like my conversation with him and his companies, it was exactly this. Like, how do I get another Owen for US, and so forth?
What is your relationship today with Meria? So there is Owen, there is Ash Consulting, but with Meria.
Meria, again, is an institutional player that offers services to some of the important banks, institutionals, and retail people, especially in France, but in some other parts of the world as well. Now, people forget that you get to an ETF by having these institutional conversations. If you're not present in the conversations, you don't exist. So Owen is doing a great service on that front. We are always thinking, how can we do some more with him? What else can he maybe provide to the ecosystem and so forth? But on this front, I mean, he's a builder. He's putting his skin in the game. He's not doing stuff primarily transactional, as many of the people usually do. And when he cares about stuff, he does everything he can. Now, is it painful either for him to see some of, let's say, people withdraw their ego and so forth? 100% it is. Can he do anything? No, he has a mandate. He needs to serve the customers. And what he can do is provide feedback to us or provide better information to them in order to build the position rather than take it down.
Can we say that Meria, via Owen, has used his influence to push the MVX ecosystem? Can we say yes to it?
Depends who's asking.
Depends who's asking.
No, the key point is there are several people like this which have been with Elrond and MULTIVERSX from day one. And this type of people have been very rare. And because them being very consequent, they've done a great job. Like the fact that we are here and are present, our proof of talk, and have conversations with so many people, which part, interestingly enough, left Owen's team at some point. So whether it's other media people that we're meeting and so forth, or other cool people that he has collaborated with. That's really great. And I think we have some of these people in other ecosystems as well.
Okay.
But France just happens to be a good country that has picked up much better than other countries in Europe in terms of adoption.
Speaking of countries, is it difficult for MULTIVERSX for now to expand to the rest of the world?
I don't think this is difficult. It's more like finding a way that can scale in the right way. The world is full of, let's say, mercenaries that just come in, do not care about anything, just here to take your money and then run away. The question is, how can we actually have this type of people that care about things, that are exceptional in skills and so forth, that do things in legitimate ways, build good relationships, have great people around them, and have them be role models in their countries. Because if we can have this type of people, it's much easier for other people to take the meme of Owen and say, I want to be like Owen, or take the meme of Vitalik and say, I want to be like Vitalik, and so forth.
Have you met Vitalik?
Yes, several times actually. Maybe one funny note is that most people don't know is one co-founder of Ethereum is Romanian, right from Sibiu, where we're at, Mihai Alisie.
Okay.
He was living with Vitalik and so forth, and he's from Sibiu. And then a good researcher, which is Vlad Zamfir. He's also Romanian. Zamfir is Romanian.
I didn't know that. That's cool. How is it in Romania? Do you have a big tech pool? As we say in France that we have the startup nation. I don't know if you heard of that. Is there a tech place or something in Romania?
So there's an interesting point to this. Romania has exceptional technical talent.
Okay.
Almost unmatched. I was at some point posting some math, physics, chemistry, and so forth Olympiads.
Okay.
And it was crazy because for 12th grade, 3 out of 5 years, 3 out of 4 years was number 1 or number 2. So that's exceptional, just a good signal. But then on the other hand, it's interesting because an influencer from Romania posted a good point the other day where he was saying, we generally tend to complain about this not being nice, this not being good, this not being good about MultiverSX. But hey, when I met at the Binance Academy with all these other countries and I asked them, tell me one project out of your country that has put your country on the map, they could not tell one. And you have all these countries in Europe, which are cool countries, that actually do not have one project that has penetrated the kind of crypto sphere. So I think MultiverSX has done an exceptional job. Definitely Romania exists on the map precisely because of that. And there are many people that have been part of both Ethereum and Bitcoin's ecosystem.
Also, I remember a picture we've seen you with the French minister of the numérique. We say digitalization. I was like, wow, okay, that's serious now.
We actually have had a very important set of accomplishments that we maybe did not discuss enough, and we should discuss and revisit. The conversation of having, let's say, a meme and doing a meme is cool. It's fine.
It's definitely cool.
It's nice. It's very nice.
But is it enough?
Yeah, that's the point. What MultiverSX has done is it has built these relationships with enterprises where we can open any door to have the conversations precisely of what we've built, and has opened up the conversations with governments, several ministers actually. When we had XDay here, the Minister of Digitalization from Romania and the Minister of Digitalization from France were present. Both of them sort of friendly fighting for MultiverSX. So just
cool.
very casually trying to...
You guys have also worked with countries.
So we have a company in Portugal and one in Estonia.
Last question about the community and how you get them going again. Do you guys plan to raise funds soon?
We plan.
Okay. Do we have any date, number, something you can share with us?
No, at this point, we're just in discussion with several super strategic people and funds because the idea is the space is not going away. It's going to just get hugely bigger with the ETFs. There is an insane arbitrage opportunity for institutionals to come in. And I think all the institutionals, it's funny and interesting to see them. The biggest one from the US, for instance, I had conversations here at Proof of Talk, being aware of what we're doing with a precision that is better than I've seen in most casual conversations, even with crypto people. So they're analysts and researchers are looking everywhere. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're looking for arbitrage opportunities. Like, where can I make the next? Suppose that you have the Ethereum ETF. What's next?
What's next?
Then what's next?
Do you think there is a next ETF coming up?
100%.
Do you bet on someone?
I mean, it's I'm 100% sure. You can take the first top 10 and say 100%, and then it will just spill over to the next one. I think the biggest story is not if there's another one, but rather everyone will sort of get the arbitrage opportunity because this is an asset class. It's not only about Bitcoin anymore when you have the Ethereum ETF. It's about the asset class. So the question is, Michael Saylor had this meme where when someone asks him, what's the second best currency? There is no second best, like arrogant and so forth. But then the next day after Ethereum ETF was approved, he switched the narrative completely. No, there will be NFTs, there will be assets, all these assets and a lot of ETFs, and there's an asset class with an industry and so forth. Of course, I respect that. Like, I respect when someone changes their mind because they've seen new data.
Honest enough to...
But that's funny still, to see the maximalism get beaten a bit.
Are you planning aggressive marketing in the United States? Is for you guys United States on the map as a milestone?
Yes,
definitely.
Very much so. We've had some conversations up until this point. United States was pretty bad, to be frank. Like crypto projects were trying to escape the United States just because of people not wanting to get into prison. Like, who wants that?
I can understand that.
But I think this is about to change, right? If Trump becomes the crypto president,
as he said just 2 or 3 days ago,
as he's doing, he's going to play this meme to the maximum. And if he becomes crypto president, we're going to see some all-time highs, unlike anything we've seen, just because he will write all with caps. No countdown timers. He will do it even worse. Caps. All will caps. This is the best
thing. Bitcoin is the next dollar.
100%.
So right now you are looking at the situation and waiting, and waiting.
We're in discussion with several, let's say, companies, people, and so forth to see the best strategy. The best strategy right now is one, we've been at all the conferences, all the most important conferences. Everyone knows us. They've seen the brand. They already recognize that in terms of technology, like, there is no second best. To quote Michael Saylor, MULTIVERSX is the best. But I think on the marketing side, and on the adoption side and business development side, the regulation very much sets the ground on what you can or cannot do. Because if we're moving there, we want to be on bulletproof ground. This is the US. The unstated story is that in US, you always have a regulatory play. They laugh about Europe because Europe is all about regulation. Well, US, it's hidden in plain sight. You just go to prison. Almost immediately. You just land in US and then go directly to prison because of regulation.
What do you think of CZ being imprisonated right now?
I mean, there's 2 points. One, big respect of how he handled the situation. Utmost respect. Builder until the last moment. Very smart of him to actually cooperate, close it, just 3-4 months is nothing. He's then out and is going to do something else. Bad and stupid and I think unjust and unfair for him to land there. But at the end of the day, again, I'm extremely surprised of how well Binance is doing, how well he structured everything, and how well he has intentionally made it a purpose to serve his time, and then go out and do something else.
And forget. How do you see the situation regarding some project that I don't want to say failed because they're not failing, but with a lack of hype, with the token price being very down, and with project being, very late on the roadmap?
Look, I think there's one story where you have startups. Startups generally suck. It's high risk. It's very difficult to pull off. 99% of them die. Okay. This is very hard for people to swallow because you've not done it a lot to actually learn this lesson that despite all the best intentions in the world, this is what happens. People try their best, but it happens like that. On the other hand, I think there's another lesson, which is you cannot make your mind after 5 minutes. We are in this TikTok culture where if
everything has to be fast.
If it's not in 30 seconds, you lost me. I will not discuss. It's like it's dead, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to discuss all of that. What I know is the project is making progress. It's making progress signing deals. It's making progress preparing the application. It's making progress preparing cross-chain other things and so forth. So can it be better? Can it do better? Can it learn to accelerate and do some stuff? Very much so. And this is what we're discussing with each of the launchpads. And I will always also encourage people to take this into account. We may be excited about projects because we are builders. Builders Definitely. Want other builders to try things and so forth. And the nature of trying experiments is that some fail. Few succeed. Few really take off. But those who take off actually make it very much worth it. So, yeah.
Can you guarantee that every project on you guys had on the Launchpad have done their best working on the project?
When you ask a guarantee, it's almost the most... Let me maybe reframe it.
Okay.
There is absolutely no guarantee for nothing in this life. But the thing is to the best of our ability, what we tend to do is filter for people who want to build. And if we discover that something doesn't work, we'll communicate, we'll always encourage people, always advise them and so forth. But things can work up until one point, and the market changes, then regulation changes and so forth. This is all part of the game. This is why the investment game, the building game is not for everyone. NVIDIA, the CEO, which is at $3 trillion at this point, was asked, would you do this again? Hell no, he answered. Why? Because 40 years he went through that pain. It's very simple for people to make all these memes and so forth, trillion and so forth. 40 years. Would you think about doing something 40
years?
That's insane. So this is why, at the end of the day, most of the things that you try as a builder, if you would know how painful they were, you would not repeat them. You would not start again just because you'd say, why go through this insanity?
Why die again?
Yeah.
Why lose everything?
Yeah, but I do believe that people are
doing
pushing.
their best.
Yes, I do believe that they're generally misjudged, especially with social media, especially with fooders.
When you have token prices going up.
Yeah. So I urge and encourage them all to do better, to push better, as I encourage ourselves to learn, to make better. But it's always useful to know that this is part of the game. This is what you're going into, and you should not have an expectation that everything you're clicking on is pure gold.
As we say, don't hate the players, hate the game.
100%. Not even the game. Love the game. And don't hate the players.
Just don't hate.
Yeah. Why hate? Life is too short to spend it around haters.
We have one project, a French project you guys worked a lot with. It's Tada.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Tada?
In general, I think they're in the AI space. It's very exciting from a narrative standpoint. Some people they have clients, they are doing money. I think it has a great potential if they're executing well. So I'm very curious to see how they will execute during the next weeks, months, and so forth. But from a starting point.
So right now we have a kind of a lot of hate against Tada in France, because it's a French project too. Sadly, it's all about the token price, who went from 0.4 to 0.06 something. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I don't get the number right. Do you have to say anything about the tokenomics being too... We had one thing coming up a lot on Twitter and everywhere. It was that the release was too quick. It was 3 months and 4 months, I think. Do you have something to say about it?
Look...
Or you do prefer not?
So I think, one, just look at Bitcoin or look at the biggest stocks in the world that basically dumped 50% in one day. Yeah. Stocks, not cryptos. So at one point there was a meme like, which is the shitcoin? Is it just tokens in the crypto space, or just these currencies or stocks that are really bad?
Netflix done that last year.
Yeah, so I think this happens. And so for the projects, is there a good way of actually doing things better? Is there a better vesting release, which may happen on a second level? Like every second you have some release and you don't have big bunches of token released very quickly or whatever. I think that can help, and we're probably going to see other iterations on this front. But I don't think that while this is painful right now, if the project delivers, people will forget about this.
Definitely.
And as things grow, it's very important to, let's say, survive the crazy volatility in the meantime until the bull run really pushes through.
You had 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago the phase 4 of the node. How is it going?
Exceptional. Staking phase 4 has changed the dynamics of the game. What does it mean? It means that the network is significantly more decentralized, that the parameters enable every new player to come in and to be part of the market. It's not closed, it's not fixed, and so forth. Now, does it also mean that people are shifting some e-gold from normal e-gold to liquid staked e-gold, from staked here to staked there, are fighting a bit just because the game is normal and inside fighting? Look, I think people should get used to fighting a bit, clarifying things, grow a bit of a thicker skin, because there will be conversations. It's fine to have the conversations and just move forward. But it's a net positive. It's a very significant net positive.
We have seen Myria losing 50 nodes in 3 weeks. Do you have any idea how are they about that?
Yes. So the entire point is this is not losing. This is reconfiguring the setup, because up until this point, there was a situation where for every node, you were only able to add a certain threshold of top-up stake. Now, when the network reconfigured everything, it made it much more effective to have less nodes and more stake on those nodes. Now, this has meant that a lot of staking providers have unstaked larger nodes and then have added staking on their the number of nodes that they have. So at this point, they have absolutely no problem. They understand the game and they're just reconfiguring the hardware and parameters to serve their customers as best as possible.
Ben, we are at the end of the interview. Right before the games, we have prepared little games for you. Do you have a last word you would like to tell to your French and European community?
Yes, so I think sovereign chains are the very best module that we have launched that enables us to take 5 years of effort and work, state-of-the-art of technology, and then give it to builders who would build kind of app chain applications with an entire chain that can connect to Ethereum, can connect to Bitcoin, can connect to Solana and so forth. That's exceptional for them, both because they can tap into other communities, other liquidity, and those ecosystems, and use the best technology that exists in the market. I also think that sovereign chains are not only this layer 2 that helps Ethereum, Bitcoin, and contributes to the ecosystem, but interconnects at a lower level, almost create a network of networks so that you can have interoperability for them.
A little bit like Cosmos?
Yes, but in a much better way in terms of objective performance that you can really map. Now, the sharding technology that we've designed and made work within the chain can now be extrapolated to these things, because essentially sovereign chains are heterogeneous shards, just sharding outside of our sharding. So the last maybe point I would say is not only are these things great for builders and as layer 2s, but they're also great for enterprises because they enable separate, independent, customizable use cases that the enterprises can have on their own rules.
You had a lot of contact with Starknet and Osmosis. Are these builders interested in using sovereign chains?
100%. Cosmos, they have great builders, especially Sunny from Osmosis and so forth. He's been testing. He's been actually a validator on MultiverseX. Cool. He's been testing the technology, and it's very nice and funny because when you see a builder that is as bright as Sunny interact with the technology and say he has not seen a better stack or more hardcore people to build around things, that I always respect. So we actually have I'm not sure if you've seen an secret email that Lucian
today
sent to founders, where the interoperability things that are not in the future but actually currently being worked on means that through sovereign chains, you will be able to interact with not only Axelar and Layer 0 and Wormhole, but with the Cosmos SDK and so forth. So I think in terms of interoperability for builders,
you're on point.
It's exceptional.
That's amazing. Can't wait to test that and to see that happen. So we are doing a little game. It's in French. Pour ou contre. It's you like it or you don't like it. Memecoin. NFTs. Okay. NFTs on Bitcoin.
Yes. I think I'm going to yes.
Yes, ever. Do you believe in Web3 gaming?
Yes.
Will blockchain be widely adopted within 5 years?
Yes.
Can we consider sovereign chains as layer 0?
Yes.
Do you use any other blockchain?
No.
Can we expect to see an EGLD ETF at some point?
I mean, we should die not to.
Is open source the future of blockchain?
100%.
Is the metaverse overrated?
In the short term and underrated in the long term.
The next market to conquer after North America, Asia or South America?
Definitely Asia, Korea.
Well, Benjamin, thank you so much. It's the end of the interview. I had a great pleasure receiving you. Thank you if you arrived at this point of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can follow Benjamin on Twitter.
Twitter.
So we're going to put all the link in the description. Thank you so much. And it was Benjamin and Benjamin for the Crypto Daily.
Benjamin, thank you.
Thank you so much.